Welcome again, everybody. We are here to talk about the Global Mentorship Initiative program. So we have Jon here. He is a CU graduate and a lifetime alumni member. He is also a former Microsoft director and now the CEO of the Global Mentorship Initiative. GMI, the Global Mentorship Initiative, prepares college students around the world for their job searches, and this is accomplished through a structured short-term online mentorship with business professionals. There are about 2,500 students currently in the program across 92 countries, which is fantastic. And in this meeting today, Jon will share some tips on preparing you for your job search and then answer any questions that you may have about the program. So with that being said, I would love to pass it over to Jon.
It's great to be engaged again with my school. I graduated from Central Washington in 1990 with a degree in accounting. I never got an accounting job. In fact, my first job was at Microsoft as an IT administrator, and I was working on the phone system. But it all worked out, and eventually I did find a job in finance at Microsoft and worked at it for many years until I went back to IT eventually. So you just never know how your career will turn out. So today I hope you'll get a lot out of this event. And it'll be worth your time. We're going to talk about some of the techniques to help you get ready for a job search, to build a large business network, and to basically have those offers waiting for you as you're preparing to graduate. It's not that hard to do. I'm going to share more about the mentorship program as well that we have in this partnership with Central Washington University. And how we would want all of you to register and sign up for that. So I'll be telling you more about that. Very glad to take questions as well, and there'll be lots of time at the end. Mine's not a long presentation. There'll be lots of time at the end for questions. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully you can see a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so anyway, let me get started. The GMI program is designed to give you the tools that you need to have career options when you graduate. Don't just get one job offer. Have several that you can evaluate and pick the one that's right for you. And that's what our program is about. So briefly, the idea for GMI was born when I was working with job recruiters in South Africa, in Johannesburg. And they told me, they said, good jobs don't always go to the graduate who's most qualified. Sometimes they go to the graduate who's most connected. And we work with students around the world. We match them with a business professional. They begin a short-term, online, very structured mentorship with a business mentor. And it's usually, the program itself is 14 one-hour sessions. You will meet once a week with your mentor usually, but you and your mentor will set the schedule. We're so glad to, we're a young organization, but now we're actually over 5,500 mentors and students, mentors in 127 countries. We've got a great corporate partners like with Microsoft. Over 600 Microsoft employees are currently mentors in the GMI program right now, working with students all around the world. Those Microsoft mentors are in 45 countries themselves. The most common phrase I see posted on social media about the program is that it was life-changing for the student. It opened career opportunities. So we want to make this available to as many students as we can. So this is about preparing you for a job, but it's about equipping you with the tools and the soft skills that you need to be successful in getting that job. For example, how to build a strong business network that will lead to opportunities. By the time you complete the mentorship, you'll have over 500 business contacts in LinkedIn. You'll learn some tips for creating a LinkedIn profile that will put you in the top 1% of that job recruiters really will notice this in your profile. We want to have your profile be found by job recruiters. You'll learn how to channel your career goals into finding specific job postings. And so to get you started on the career path, but it's not just about defining what you want to do in your career. It's about how do you find the specific jobs that get you there. You'll learn how to build a resume that's customized with the keywords that are in the job descriptions that you want to apply for. I've had students tell me before they start the program, they say they've have a resume. It looks pretty good. They've sent it to 20 different employers for different jobs, never heard back from any of them. And then when I look at the resume, I see that it was too generic. And why that's important is because it never made it through the applicant tracking system, the software that recruiters often use that looks for the right keywords related to that job. So in fact, you never get to a real person if your resume isn't customized. Other topics, we talk about global communication skills. Now many of our companies are international. You might have a manager that works in Europe, and we talk about how that works. Career planning, the use of SMART goals. I can tell you right now, if you talk about your SMART goals when you're in a job interview, you are automatically moved to the top of the list, because most businesses employ SMART goals in their strategy, in their budgeting systems. And if you already know what those are and employ them in your own personal goals, you're already ahead of most people. So these are some things that we show in the program. We give you templates for everything, how to connect with people, as I'll show you here in just a minute, how to reach out to a recruiter, how to make a casual inquiry with a hiring manager, things like this. Interviewing techniques, you'll learn the STAR interview technique. It's a way to answer a complex interview question in a very methodical, well thought out way. And even if a job recruiter knows that you're employing this technique, they love it because they know that you are prepared for this interview. And I think having these kinds of this interview prep process just makes you less nervous in the job interview. And most importantly, it lets your real self come through, which is really what you want in a job interview. So that's a little bit about the program. Each of the 14 weeks covers one of these topics. Some weeks cover, some weeks take more than one, some topics take more than 1 week. Now, I wanted to share some tips here before we go back to the mentorship and answer any questions you have about that. Finding a job is tough, and it's certainly not like it was when I started out, when we had paper resumes and we walked into job offices and gave our resumes out. This is different, of course. And now you have a global set of competition for a job that you might be looking at locally, especially with the acceptance now of work from home in a lot of cases. It brings your competition in from all around the world, maybe competing for that job in the Seattle area, for example. But we have a process. We have a process that we share with our students. We teach our mentors how to guide the students through it. And it really does work. It works because hundreds of students have said, I got a job because I followed your process. And I'll share just a couple of things here to get you thinking about that. One is managing, not just creating, but managing your online business identity. This is your business persona. That's usually through LinkedIn, especially as a starting point. You'll find that LinkedIn is going to help you get your job, your first job. In fact, 94% of job recruiters in the US use LinkedIn to find job candidates, and 50% of recruiters will base part of their decision to hire you on your LinkedIn profile. So not only is it going to help you get your job after graduation, but it's going to create career opportunities that you can't even anticipate right now because of the hundreds or thousands of people that you're going to be connected with on LinkedIn. And that's why it's so important to start it out quickly, while you're in college. Start building those connections. And what I'm about to say is really important here, because we get hung up on our own abilities and our own self-confidence to do a job, to enter the job world. But this is true. It's really not about your talents. The graduates who are most successful in getting these jobs are the ones that put in the effort. You can learn a job, you can build your skills and experience, but it's really defined by putting in the effort now to build those opportunities for yourself. Finding a job is a numbers game. If the more people you connect with, the more positions you apply for, the more options you're going to have when you decide to get a job. So how do you distinguish yourself from hundreds of people that are possibly going to be applying for the same job as you? Well, you work the process. You follow the tips that we provide. You use the templates we provide. And it really is, it's not easy, but it's that simple. And that's what's going to separate you from the pack. You're going to know exactly what to say to a job recruiter, exactly how to connect with a hiring manager, exactly the right answers to give in the interview, because you're prepared. And that's what's going to separate you from the others. There are job opportunities at companies that you've never heard of, and you want to make it easy for these people to find you, especially the recruiters. So we focus on LinkedIn quite a bit through the mentorship. You'll need some of these people eventually to open doors for you later on in your career, new job opportunities, and we give you templates to make this easy. Also important, if you want to start connecting with people right away, and you should, have a strong LinkedIn profile in place before you begin. If you skip that step and you start inviting people to connect, and they're not impressed by your profile, they won't connect, and you've kind of sabotaged yourself before you get started. I am glad, I don't want to make this a complete lecture. I am glad to take questions anytime. So Crystal, I'll let you kind of tell me if there's a question or anything like that. I want to share with you something that most people, especially job candidates, don't see. And that is the LinkedIn recruiting tool. LinkedIn Recruiter this is an app that's used by a lot of mid-size and larger companies, especially. Recruiters will search for candidates like you based on experience, location, college degree, skills that are listed in LinkedIn. And other keywords, and they're going to get a general candidate pool based on these searches. They can see a lot more information than the average person with a LinkedIn profile can. For example, a recruiter can see your email address and most of your contact information, even if that's not available to the rest of the public. But here's the important part. They'll narrow this search by using additional filters. And this is where you need to adjust your LinkedIn profile for these filters so that you're caught in these filters. And just a few examples. Are you open to work? That's one of the primary. So you need to be sure to click that. Let recruiters know that you're available for jobs by clicking on the button on your profile that says open to finding a new job. Are you connected with employees at their company? This is part of the engagement and interest you have in their company. So as you can see up at the top of this, you have 1,000 candidates in your job search as a recruiter. You have 71 that have connections with your company. Well, I'm going to start right there, narrowing my search down with those 71 people because they already have an interest. They might know somebody at the company. Are you likely to respond to them is another filter. And they are able to tell if you have had no activity in your account for the last 30 days. And if you're not active on LinkedIn, you probably won't show up in their final filters. And then there's one that very few people know about. There's a there's a filter called engaged with your talent brand. So are you following their company? That's primarily the engaged with your talent brand flag. If you're applying for a job at a company, be sure you're following them. And you can follow up to 1,000 companies on LinkedIn. So it's a very easy way to start making that personal connection, if you will, with a company. Let recruiters know that you're engaged. Here's the key stat on this. Recruiters know that if you're following their company or engaged with their talent brand, you're 4 times more likely to respond to their messages. And they don't want to waste their time on somebody that's probably going to be unresponsive. So they're going to search on that filtering set for their list of candidates for that job. It's a lot to sink in. I see there are some chats there. I don't know if any of those are for me or oh, good.
The question that I put, or that someone put in the chat, I was able to answer for them.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Another thing I want to just mention is this whole concept of keywords, not just in your LinkedIn profile, because that's where recruiters are going to find them when they're searching for you. But your resume must include the keywords that are in a posted job description that you're applying for. And this means having a separate resume for every job you apply for. Now, you've got a base resume, you've got a template. It's just a matter of changing a few words in that template to trigger the applicant tracking system for the recruiter that's recruiting for that job. It needs to have the keywords that are in the job description. We show you how to find those keywords and put them in your resume, and it makes a huge difference. This is just a tip that most people on LinkedIn don't know. You click on connect with somebody on LinkedIn, and it automatically gives that generic, I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn, or more and more I'm seeing it doesn't give any message. It just says, it asks you to connect. Most of the time, I don't connect with those because I don't know any context or reference of why they're trying to connect with me. So we show our mentees how to customize that message, that short message, to get somebody to want to connect with you. And it could be as simple as, we both know this person, and I'm graduating soon. I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. You're not making a request. You're not asking for anything except just connect. Once you connect with them, then you have a lot more LinkedIn connections that are open to you as second level connections, which are more likely to connect with you. So that's why it's if you have different types of scenarios where you know or don't know somebody, you use a different message there in the connection. Here's another one that most people don't know. You have 300 characters to make your first impression. When I'm trying to connect with people, looking at corporate sponsorship or something like that, I am very careful about getting the most important thing I want to say is in the first sentence, because chances are most people are only going to read that. They're going to make a decision to connect or not. So keep that in mind when you're connecting. Don't just hit connect with somebody, put in a personal message. So kind of just circling back and closing out here, this little discussion, back to the mentorship program. We have 14 sessions, as I mentioned. Each session is this is what the student mentor portal looks like. Each one of these has the documents for the mentorship, everything you need to know in the program, since it's very structured. All of the templates, like the LinkedIn connection templates, are in here. A resume, of course, formats, how to find keywords. It's all covered in here. How to search and target search jobs in LinkedIn and other online tools. And you and your mentor will walk through these usually once a week. So we're always there to support you as well in this. Now, I want to just quickly say what happens when you apply for a mentorship, because you'll notice if I go back up here, I can only see part of my screen, but at the very top here at gmi.link.cwu, that's where you can learn more about the mentorship program and apply to register to be a mentor, to be a mentee, I should say. I think it's on top of here. I can only see part of my screen. That's the problem. So when you click on that link, you fill out, it's about 5 minutes to fill out the registration for it. We'll ask you some questions about your, what you're studying, about your goals, just because we want to be sure we match you up with a mentor that's best for you. We even ask a couple of questions on your communication preferences, or do you, how you like to communicate and work with other people, just so we match you up in a better way. Once you complete the application, you should hear back from us in a few days. You're going to get a link to a very short student orientation. I think it's about 20 minutes long. It doesn't have to be very long. It's just going to show you how to navigate the resources that we're giving you and what to expect in your first mentoring session with your mentor. Your mentor goes through a short mentoring orientation. We give them everything they need to connect with you. It's very important that every student have a similar good quality experience. So we make sure our mentors know how to use our structure for that to happen. And that is what I wanted to share. I'm glad to chat about anything. Crystal, you mentioned badges earlier. I just want to make sure people know about the badge process for GMI as well.
Yeah, definitely. So once again, through our EDGE program, we do have a featured badge for the GMI program, and it is not 14 steps. So it's not one task for each of the sessions, but it's more cumulative summarized tasks that you'll complete to prove and showcase to any recruiters or job interviews that you've completed this program. It's a really great thing to have on your resume. So if you're interested, I put the link in the chat for how to kind of get more information about CWU's partnership with GMI specifically. The application's at the bottom of that page. So if you are interested, feel free to fill that out. As you can see on the slide here, I'm one of the contact points as kind of that GMI CWU liaison. And then we also have Kristen and Chad who are willing to answer any questions that you have at a later time as well. So feel free to ask us any questions. John did get one in the chat, and it was asking what companies people or the mentors are from.
Yes. Well, we have 2,700 mentors from all over the world. So just about every company imaginable. But we have a lot of mentors from Amazon, I mentioned 600 from Microsoft. We're getting more and more from Google. Meta has provided us probably with about 100 mentors, but honestly, they could just be from any company.
And also feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions or type them in the chat. Either one works for the both of us.
I would add that if regardless on whether or not you think this might be a good program for you, if you know one of your classmates that might be interested in this, feel free to have them check it out, because we're looking for anybody at CWU that wants to be part of this.
Yes, and around Shaw, if you are on the Ellensburg campus, you'll notice we do have posters around the building for this. It also has a QR code to the application link, so feel free to scan any of those. It looks like there is another question in the chat that says, do you have to pay for this program?
Yeah, no, there's never a cost to a student or a college for that matter. GMI is a nonprofit organization, and corporates that are part of the program, they sponsor us. So companies like Microsoft, for example.
And I just got another one that says, what happens at the end of the 14 weeks? Can I continue my mentorship relationship?
So the answer is yes. When the 14 weeks are up, you will have completed the program. And we let students and mentors know you're under no obligation to stay connected with your mentor or student. But to be honest, most do. We've seen some just incredible friendships that come out of this. And we run this program for students all across Africa. I can tell you that once in a while, we have one of the mentors in the US that gets to meet their student in Africa, and it's just been incredible experiences. So no, you don't have to stay engaged, but I'll tell you also that the second phase of our program launching this year is to connect students with job opportunities from our sponsoring companies. So this is in process. It's not up and running just yet, but it's another reason that we'll keep in touch with you.
And I just got one more sent to me. You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but what resources and things will students learn from the program? I know you had mentioned resumes and LinkedIn connections.
Yeah. Let me just pop back here, because there you can see the topics for every week or every session. We start you off right away in LinkedIn. And if you don't have a LinkedIn profile yet, that's okay. We ask you to set one up before your first meeting with your mentor. We provide you a tutorial for this with everything you need to have a really good profile, even before you get started. Then you're going to walk through advanced LinkedIn techniques with your mentor. So together, you guys will do things that most people don't have on their profile to make it stand out. Then you can see working in the global environment, creating a career plan, professional skills development. That's a self-assessment for you to figure out, the direction you want to go in a career, but what are the soft skills that you need to develop to hit the ground running in that when you start that new job. And so it's a little bit of a self-assessment. Then, of course, resumes, how to find jobs online, 2 weeks on the interview, because of course that's so important. Session 12 is one of those special ones that most people don't get, but it's nice to walk through with a mentor. How do you hit the ground running? How do you make that first impression with your new boss, your coworkers at your new company that really identifies you as not only a team player, but one that is going to distinguish yourself for performance? And so we give you some tips that most people don't know about. But session 13, everybody's going to have a job performance review pretty soon after being hired or within their first year. We prepare you for that. We tell you what that's like, what to expect. I've had 30 of them probably at Microsoft, good ones and bad ones. And also, if you get a poor performance review, how do you bounce back from that, which is so important. So we share a little bit of our experience there. And then 14 just kind of wraps it all up at the end.
Right. And it looks like there's another one that says, how many start dates are there, or is it a rolling start for enrollment?
Yeah, it's a rolling start. We start new mentorships every Monday. And we are, I think we did 50 last Monday. Mentorship started. Some weeks we only have 30, some weeks we have 50. So anytime you're ready to join this program, it works really well if you're in your third or fourth year of college, because that's when you are focused on this job search.
Perfect. Well, it looks like in the chat, someone says they're going to go enroll right now. So
That's fantastic. Awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, you'll hear tomorrow, you'll hear from Kristen or Amanda on our team, who will send you everything you need to kind of get started. We've had we have more mentors signing up right now than students, so it won't take long for you to be matched with a mentor. Crystal, I want to say thank you for inviting me here today, and You didn't get Chad. He's the A performer, so you got the B sub team. But um, I'm glad to do this anytime if there's another group that wants to learn about this. And one of these days soon, I got to get back over to Ellensburg.
Yes, definitely. And if any of our attendees do have further questions, again, feel free to email me or any of the email addresses that are on the flyers around Shaw. We've got all the contact points there for you. But any last minute questions from anybody? Otherwise, I would love to just thank you, Jon, for being here. I think this program is a great program, and I'm so glad that we're able to share it with another 30 of our students after the 40 that we already have in the program.
That's great. Yes. Thank you a lot, Crystal. And thanks everybody for listening today.